Good day, guys. It's good to be here again on this new episode, on this new and we just starting a new topic in physiology, and we feel so happy sharing up new knowledge with you guys. All right. So in this video, we would like to be talking about the endocrine physiology. We would like to be talking about the endocrine system of the human body. Since we are medical students, we study mostly the humans. Okay, so what are the objectives of this? What are the objectives of this video? Okay, so you should be able to differentiate between the endocrine system and the exocrine gland. You should be able to know chemical messengers, hormones. That's their definition, their chemical structure, the paracrine, the autocrine, the endocrine, the neuroendocrine, the transport and clearance, the mechanism of action, and the receptor, the down regulation, up regulation, and intracellular signaling. All right, so guys, before we continue, I would like to tell you guys that this is an introductory class to the endocrine physiology, and under the endocrine physiology we have over 15 videos we are going to make on the endocrine physiology. This is just like a walkthrough class, and we will be going through you will be like taking all the enzymes to study them one after the other. So this is just like a walkthrough. Okay, so what are the types of glands? We have the exocrine gland, we have the endocrine gland. Okay, the exocrine, they are like sending will I say impulse, or sending impulse far away. Okay, why the endocrine just secrete whatever they have into the blood system directly. Okay, so what are chemical messengers? Right, the activities of chemical messengers, tissues and organs are coordinated by chemical messengers. All right, okay, the activities of tissues, cells. Okay, so this is just to tell you that chemical messengers are body substances that control the activities of cells, tissues and organs. Okay, so in physiology, residual knowledge is so important. So when you are reading physiology, you don't rest, because in physiology, when they ask you a question, you are expected to like say everything you know about that question. Okay, especially the endocrine system, you have to go your way. Okay, researching about the endocrine system just the way you have research about the endocrine system and you have come across this video. So you could kindly subscribe to our channel so you could see much more videos. All right, so the chemical messengers are examples are neurotransmitters in the neurons, endocrine hormones in the endocrine system, neuroendocrine hormones, the ones linking the neural system and the endocrine system, and they are the paracrine hormones, the autocrine hormones, the cytokinins. We'll be looking at all these hormones, and we'll be trying to like see how the different modes in which they act. Okay, so guys, what are the types of signaling? Okay, like this just means that how these hormones work. So the endocrine signaling, okay, I told you that the endocrine system, all right, is no stress. Okay, if it has anything to communicate to the body, it just release it direct into the blood vessels. Now the blood vessels actually take these chemicals to the target cells. Okay, so what of the paracrine signaling? Okay, let me just read what they have here. Locally acting chemicals that affect cells other than those that secrete them. Okay, this is like, okay, I'm a cell, you are a cell, I'm sending out things to affect you, and those things are not affecting me. Okay, that's the paracrine. The paracrine is like another cell giving instruction to another cell. Okay, Of course, I can't get okay, and that cell can't give instruction to itself. So it just shows like okay, that other cell giving instruction is superior to the cell receiving instruction. That's the paracrine signaling. All right, so I actually break down this communication so that you guys enjoy yourself on my channel. All right, so that you guys get to understand these things in depth. What of the autocrine signaling? Let me read what they have here. Chemicals that exert their effect on the same cells that secrete them. Okay, so it's just like I'm giving instructions to myself. I'm telling myself that okay, today you have to study cell because you have to make a video on cell for the guys on your YouTube channel. Okay, that's self-discipline, giving instruction to yourself. That's the autocrine signaling. What of the synaptic signaling? Okay, you could see that stuffs are secreted from the synapse of a neuron. Okay, what is a neurosecretory cell? Right, you can see a neuroendocrine signaling. This is a signaling between the neural system of the body and the endocrine system of the body. Okay, guys, I hope we are following up. We are about to go to the third page of this of this tutorial, and I want you to follow up each and every page we open up. Okay, so just talking about the cytokinins, and they are peptides. Examples are interleukins and lymphokinins, adipokinins. Okay, they are secreted by cells into the extracellular fluid, into the CF. The ECF is where you find the cytokinins. They function as endocrine signaling. Without going back on this video, what did I say endocrine signaling is? Okay, endocrine signaling is like they secrete anything they want to communicate to the body, to the blood. All right, then the blood system takes it over. What of the paracrine signaling? This is like a cell secreting chemicals that have effects on that same cell. Okay, no, that's the autocrine signaling. What of the paracrine signaling? Is like a cell secreting chemicals that have effect on another cell. Okay, so moving forward, this is just like a picture of the various endocrine glands that we have. Okay, I would like us to just go through each of these glands, not each, try to call their names and move on, because I'll be making videos on each gland and each hormone they secrete. Okay, so major endocrine glands: the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland. Organs containing endocrine cells. Okay, no, this side they are talking about the major. On your left they are talking about the major endocrine glands. On your right they are talking about the organs containing endocrine cells. So the organs is just like the thymus, the heart, the liver, the stomach, the kidney, the small intestine. Okay, even the adrenal glands, and so on and so forth. This is just like a brief push through, just an introduction to endocrine system. But even if you pay attention to this lecture, you can pass your endocrine course with like over 50% pass. Okay, the multiple hormone systems play a key role in regulating almost all body functions. Okay, so the use of hormones is to regulate body functions, and some of these body functions include metabolism, growth and development. You watch an infant move from the infant stage to the adult stage. And water and electrolyte balance. Sometimes you find out that you are easing yourself too much. Sometimes you find out that you drink water and all this water is absorbed back into your body. That's the use of the antidiuretic hormone. Okay, we'll get to all that. All right, so reproduction is controlled by hormones too. That's the estrogen, the androgen, the testosterone, and so on and so forth. Then your behavior, all right, sometimes you are depressed, sometimes you are happy, sometimes you are too active, sometimes you have so much energy, sometimes you are so weak. All these are controlled by the hormones, and we could get to say that hormones are inevitable in the body. They are they are important components of the body. All right, so moving to the fourth page, I hope you guys are following up. So now, definition of hormones properly. Hormone is a chemical substance that is released by a group of cells to control the function or other types of cells. Okay, so types of hormones affect many different cells. All right, then hormones that affect specific target cells. Okay, these hormones are specific, they target things. All right, so what are target cells? If I'm sending an information to you, and that very information only you can read it, even the person that I gave the letter to give you, the person can't read that information, then that means that me and you must have sat down to study that particular language you are bringing to communicate just between the two of us. This is what target cells are. Okay, a target cell, we have the receptors that are needed just to transcript that very information. Okay, so target cells, they contain specific receptors, all right, of a particular hormone. All right, so you could see this picture, right? You could see that an endocrine cell that secretes chemicals into the blood system. All right, it can't communicate with a cell that doesn't have the receptor for that information, but it can communicate with a cell that has receptors for that very information. I know if you are watching this video and it already makes sense to you, kindly like this video and comment on this video before you continue. All right, that's helping YouTube know that our channel is actually working. All right, so chemical structure of hormones. Three general types of hormones. We have the protein and the polypeptides. All right, they are produced by the anterior and posterior pituitary and gland. The pancreas produce them too, and the parathyroid produce them too. They are stored in vesicles until they are needed. So pituitary, pancreas, parathyroid, you could call them PPP. All right, then the steroid hormones are produced by the adrenal cortex, ovarian and testicular hormones diffuse across the cell membrane. Okay, so and we also have hormones that are derivatives of amino acid. You could say things like tyrosine, that's into the thyroid hormones, and the catecholamines. All right, that's the adrenaline, the noradrenaline, and so forth. All right, so moving forward, talking about the protein hormones, that's the peptide. All right, so they are actually synthesized as pro hormones. All right, they are not synthesized at their active state. All right, they have to be translated. Okay, so they are post translational modification to pro hormone, then the hormone itself. Okay, so I hope we are seeing this. From the DNA to mRNA, all right, mRNA to pro hormone, pro hormone into pro hormone, and pro hormone into hormone. This is just to try to tell you that where these things are worked on. All right, they are worked in the nucleus, the ribosome, the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, the secretory vessels. I would like you to take a note of that table around there. All right, so examples of protein hormones: you have the insulin, you have the C peptide, The pro hormone is made up of insulin and C peptide to make it active. We have it's made up of insulin and C peptide. To make it active, we'll have to cleave the C protein chain. We can use the C protein chain to detect the amount of insulin being released in the body. Right? So going deep on steroid hormones, we could say they are secreted by the gonads, adrenal, and placenta, derived from cholesterol, on demand synthesis, all right, usually bound to carrier proteins. These are the characteristics. I would like you guys to stick to our channel because we'll be making special videos on growth hormone, on thyroid hormone, the parathyroid hormone, the adrenal corticotrophic hormone, and so on and so forth. We won't be combining them in this video because it will get so boring. Okay, so what are the amine hormones? The amine hormones are derived from tyrosine or tryptophan. Okay, they are into three groups. All right, so tryptophan to melatonin, and tyrosine to catecholamines, tyrosine to thyroid hormones. Okay, I hope you are following up. Beautiful introduction to endocrine system, so easy. All right, so types of stimuli, we have the humoral stimuli. That's the secretion of hormones in direct response to changes in blood levels. Okay, that's the hormones are secreted in direct response. So nerve stimuli, right? So the hormones are not secreted in direct response, rather the nerves stimulate this. Okay, so hormonal stimuli, all right, this means that another hormone stimulates the production of another hormone. I don't know if we're getting this. You could like draw this video back and listen to me again. Okay, so this is just like a diagrammatic representative of the humoral stimulus, the neural stimulus, and the hormonal stimulus. Okay, so types of hormones. We have the water-soluble hormones, they are hydrophilic, and we have the fat-soluble hormones, that's the steroid and thyroid hormones. Hydrophilic hormones include the peptides and the catecholamines. Okay, so fat-soluble hormones binding to proteins helps to provide reservoirs, slow hormone clearance. Okay, so what is the difference between water and fat soluble hormones? Okay, so I would like you to focus on the image, right, while I read what is in the table that I will have here. So water soluble hormones, they are stored within the vesicles. Fat soluble are not stored. Transport freely in the blood. Okay, they are transported freely, while the fat soluble have to bind to a plasma protein to aid their transport. The water soluble, they need receptors on the cell to get in, while the fat soluble, they diffuse through the cell membrane. So just look at this. When the fat soluble diffuse, then they need the plasma protein to actually transport them around. Water soluble can't diffuse in, but when they bind on the receptors and go in, they can be transported freely. So I hope you guys are seeing these cross differences. All right, so the water soluble produce the action once they get inside the target cell. So fat soluble, they have receptors inside the target cell to produce its action. All right, so regulation of hormone. Hormones can be regulated via the negative negative feedback and the positive feedback, all right, and the neural mechanism. I would like to just talk about the negative feedback and positive feedback from my own point of view. Okay, the negative feedback is like, okay, this hormone, when it gets much, then it will stop producing itself because it is much. Okay, and the positive feedback is like, the more this stuff gets, the more it triggers the production of it. I don't know if you understand. Like cancer works through the positive feedback. Once cancer starts growing, it starts growing too rapid. That's a positive feedback. Okay, so hormones and receptors. And hormonal receptors are large proteins, 2,000 to 100,000 receptors per cell. Okay, so receptors are highly specific for a single hormone. Receptors that will accept the growth hormone won't be the same receptors that will accept the thyroid hormone. So they are actually different. Receptor locations, they are actually located on the surface of the cell membrane. Right, they are also located in the cell cytoplasm. They are also located in the nucleus. Hope we are following up, and I hope the tutorial is making so much sense. All right, so mechanism of action, this is like talking about how these hormones actually work. I'm trying to get this phone back to the landscape. Right, landscape, then we go back to our lecture. Right, mechanism of action, how these hormones get to act. All right, so this is like talking about the different messengers that make hormonal action possible. All right, and there are different modes of action. You could see that the second messenger, adenylate cyclase, that's the CAMP, they bind with the receptor on the cell membrane. The receptor is bound to the G protein, which is bound to the GDP after the hormone is connected with the receptor. And this is a whole lot of English. I think I'll make separate videos on this. All right, I'll make separate videos on that. Okay, so let's move on. The regulation of hormonal receptors. Receptors does not remain constant. They can be inactivated and destroyed, right? Reactivated or manufactured, depend on how they are exposed to hormones. Right, so down regulation, increased hormone concentration leads to the decrease in number of active receptors. Do you know why? Because receptors have the range of hormones they can act on. So if when they act on these hormones to the maximum, they become inactivated or destroyed. So when you are just adding up the hormones, adding hormones, and these receptors are not adding and they are getting destroyed, okay, they end up, I think, the receptors end up decreasing while the hormone is adding. This is what this sentence is talking about. Most peptide hormones have pulsatile secretion, which prevents downregulation, decreased synthesis, and increased degradation. So upregulation, and the hormone induces greater than normal formation of receptor. Upregulation is like, okay, the hormones are not as much as the receptors, so the receptors get to act on all the hormones. So it's like it's increasing the receptors while decreasing the hormones. Okay, that's upregulation. Then clearance of hormones. Two factors control the concentration of a hormone in the blood. That's the rate of its secretion and the rate of its removal. Okay, the rate on how this hormone is being brought in, and the rate at which this hormone is being taken out. And hormones are cleared by metabolic destruction by tissues, and they can bind with tissues. They can be excreted by liver, all right. They can excreted by kidney as urine. And clearance of protein bound hormone is slower than clearance of peptide hormones. Okay, so hormone interaction. How do hormones interact in our body? And the interaction of hormones can be divided into synergism, the permissiveness, and the antagonism. Okay, so you could just take a look at these definitions. Synergism is like, okay, we are joining our hands together to get a particular role done. Okay, why permissiveness is like, okay, one hormone, because a hormone is around, the other one will perform better. Okay, it's like that other hormone is permitting the other hormone. Okay, so antagonism is like, okay, because this other hormone is around, the other hormone won't function. So they are not joining their hands together, and the other hormone is not permitting the other one. It's rather inhibiting the other one. Okay, so they gave different examples of these things we spoke about. Okay, it's just to know you that blood glucose level is synergistic effect of glucagon. Of course, glucagon increases the production of glucose in the body. All right, so thyroid hormones have permissive effect on growth hormone. If thyroid hormone is being secreted, then growth hormone functions more. This is what this sentence is talking about. All right, so you could see a further explanation here. Effect of combined hormones is greater than effect of individual hormones. This is just to tell you that when two hormones actually combine to accomplish a task, then the effect will be more than if one hormone is going to achieve this task. Okay, all right, so presence, talking about the permissiveness of a hormone, you could see that presence of a hormone will potentiate effect of another hormone. It is necessary that hormones have a similar effect. Okay, if I'm permitting you, then we should have something in common. All right, so that's it. So summary of hormones. I would like you to pause this video so that you take a look at this diagram. All right, chemical classification of hormones. You have the steroid, the amines, the proteins. All right, hormones to target cells. Target cells are on cell membrane. Target cells can be found in the cytoplasm. Target cells can be found in the nucleus, like that, like that, like that. So the action of hormones: synergism, permissiveness, antagonism. All right, so hope you are following up on this great tutorial. All right, I think this will be all for hormones. All right, so in the near time, we'll start making videos on each of these hormones, not even listed on